Hey guys, how you doing? Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Shama. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. So I know the title of this video is a little bit different than what you're used to seeing on this channel, but I wanted to make this video today because it's part of my life, it's part of my journey. So I decided to do something different and talk about becoming an entrepreneur and why I became a business owner. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Yeah, that's my bottle of water right there. And actually, let me take a sip before I start because I don't want this video to be too long, but I don't know how long it's gonna be. So okay. So growing up as a child, I always knew that I wanted to be my own boss someday, right? From as little as I can remember, I always was interested in becoming my own boss and having my own business at some point. So knowing that, I grew up, and yes, I did have jobs. Most of my life I've spent here. Well, half of my life so far I've spent in the States. So when I first came to the US, I didn't really know what I wanted to study. So I happened upon computer science and information technology, honestly. I knew I've always had a love for technology, right? And so I figured the best thing to do was something related to computers and technology, or something of that sort. So I went to a community college for for 2 years, my associate's degree. I studied computer information systems, and I had to do programming and coding and all of that stuff. And let me just say, those were not my greatest years. I did not like it. I don't have the patience for coding. Now I kind of like it because, you know, I have websites and stuff that I have to design. And although I don't need coding, HTML helps. But back then, did not like it. Did not have the patience for it. So I was doing my computer information systems, my 2-year degree, associate's degree. I was also working at a retail store. That was my very first job. So I did that part-time for a couple times a week. And I think when I started, goodness, I think minimum wage was $5.15, and then eventually it went up to $6.15. But y'all, I started working for $5.15. Yes, I did. But I eventually quit that job. I did not like the way that this guy was treating his employees, so I quit. All right, I ain't gonna stay around for a job if I don't like it, so I quit. Then thereafter, I went to work with Whole Foods. I probably worked with Whole Foods for well over a year, and then eventually I left there and a new stadium had opened. I went to work at a stadium to work there for a couple months, and then before I actually left and moved on to working on my bachelor's degree. So I worked on my bachelor's degree. I got my bachelor's in IT, and I think information technology. And I think in 2010, some of 2010, I got my first job. Started working at AT&T as, I think when I started as a business IT analyst, because it was some type of program that we got accepted into. So as a business IT analyst, I had to do like business requirements, system requirements. All that meant was really you're taking a project or whatever the client wants, and you were writing those up in what you would need for business requirements, as well as what that product or whatever would need as far as system requirements are concerned, and then testing and all of that stuff. So after about a year of doing that, I transitioned into becoming doing a project management track. So I was now a specialist IT business manager, doing project management work. So I would oversee teams of coders and developers and testers, more doing work more in line with funding. So I had to make sure that, you know, whatever stage along the project we were in, we were on budget, within budget, not over budget or under budget. At some point it hit me that I don't think this is what I wanted to do. I'm like, yeah, the job is great. I mean, at my age, I don't remember, I was in my early 20s at the time. I'm like, at the stage I was, it was a great job right out of college, not having any experience. But I'm like, some of the people that I was overseeing were not team players. They were not willing to work with me. And when I did what I had to do, like, people were getting frustrated. They were mad. And I'm like, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to oversee a bunch of people who are much older than me and they're having problems when I do my work. Like, I don't want to I don't want to manage miserable people. That's what I thought at the time. So also around that time, there was stuff happening in my personal life that legal stuff, not like bad things, but they were like things that had legal implications. Like I saw stuff happen to my parents, and then they went to someone who had legal experience and was supposed to be a lawyer and a judge for help, and they got screwed pretty much. So that, along with other things, at that point in time, my partner and I started having talks about law school. So we started having discussions, and he was like, hey, what do you think about going to law school? So what did we do? We started doing everything that we needed to do to get into law school. We started practicing and studying for the LSAT and taking preparation classes to get into law school. So I think I took the LSAT twice. I don't remember the score I got at the first try, but I think I got like a 140 something the second time around. I think a 180 is the highest. So I think I got a 140 something. It was not great, but anyways, it was enough, decent score enough to get into law school. So after that, we sent out applications to some schools, and I did get accepted into some schools, and others I was put on a waiting list. I was able to get into a school that my partner was also going to be at, and we were going to start a law journey together. So around the time for the acceptance, I think it was maybe 3 weeks out from when the semester was actually going to start. And mark you, we lived in New Jersey at the time. The school is located in Florida, so that means I have about 3 weeks to go back and tell my job that I'm leaving and get myself ready to make a move to a whole nother state to go to law school. So as soon as I got back to work, I put in my 2 weeks notice. I informed my boss that I was leaving in 2 weeks, and everybody was surprised because nobody had any idea that I was planning to go to law school. And in August of 2012, after 2 years of working at AT&T, I was out. I left. And so during law school, during the first year of law school, you're not allowed to work. And so after that, in the second and third years, I had internships, and I had like a research assistant job, and I also had federal clerkships with a federal judge. Just trying to figure out and do different things and see what I wanted to do, because when I went into law school, I thought I was going to be a family law attorney. I quickly found out it was not for me. Props to those who practice family law, but yeah, I quickly figured out it was not for me. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in law school, and so I worked with an estate planning attorney as part-time. I also clerked for a federal judge doing bankruptcy, and by the time I left law school, I think I had leaned towards bankruptcy and estate planning. Before graduating law school in 2015, at some point in my journey, I started my own business. I guess it just came on me. I think, I've always suffered with eczema and stuff and all that stuff. So something came upon me, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try making my own body lotion and my body product. So I figured at that point I was going to, try my hand at stuff. So I started a little business at that point, making soaps, like glycerin-based soaps. I would order soap bases and then add oils and scents and colors to them. And then I also started making my own hair products from scratch, like my hair butters, hair oils, body butters, body lotions, like all of that stuff. And when people at the church that I went to found out that I was making that, people started to order. And I made a decent amount of money. Like, it wasn't a whole lot because I only did it for maybe, I think, 1 summer during law school. So that was not long. But people liked it. People liked the products, the soap. And y'all, there was one product that I made. Let me just say, I made one hair product. People who had thin hair and used that butter had thick hair in less than no time. They had to stop using the product because their hair was becoming so thick. Y'all, I don't know what I put in that butter. Like, I know I used products and oils and butters that would help your hair grow and get thicker and strong and all of that stuff, but starting off as a new entrepreneur, doing something that I've never done before, didn't really know the whole basics and stuff of being an entrepreneur and running my own business. I didn't really take like good notes as I needed to. So yeah, that product, it worked well. And had I kept with it and had I had like all the ingredients and the measurements and quantities of everything, let me just say, I probably would have had a multi-million dollar product on my hands, okay? A multi-million dollar product, because people liked that product. But such is life. It happened and I have no idea what the quantities were. So I did that for about a summer in law school, and then I don't know what happened. I think at some point I started getting overwhelmed with all the law school responsibilities, because I think it was right around the time of having to start wrapping up my law school and getting ready for the bar exam and all that stuff. So yeah, I just dropped the business like hot potato. Okay, it wasn't a formal thing either. Like, it wasn't like I had registered the business or anything. I had a business name, I had done like logos and everything and labels and stuff, but it was never formally registered as a business. Fast forward to 2015, I've graduated law school. I've taken both the New York and the New Jersey state bars at the same time in July 2015. And about October, November 2015, your girl finds out she's passed not one, but both the New York and New Jersey state bars at the same time. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. And I got sworn in as an attorney in November 2015. I was excited. All right. So of course, at that point, I'm starting to look for jobs as an attorney. Like, I'm happy. I know what I want to practice. I know I want to practice bankruptcy and estate planning and that stuff. And so, yeah, I started looking for jobs. Yeah, it turned out more difficult than I thought it would. And I think it's because I went to law school in Florida. My network was in Florida. I knew law school students there. I knew attorneys there. And then I came back to New Jersey, where I knew no attorneys, no law students, nothing. So I had to start from scratch, okay? So it took a while to get a job as an attorney. And so in the meantime, I started doing document review projects. If you're an attorney, you know what document review projects are. But for those who don't know, document review projects are really, you know, you're reviewing documents for litigation purposes. Like, there are people who are in litigation, law firms and stuff, and they hire attorneys to doc review, like review documents of their clients and all that stuff that may help their case or may not be relevant and all that stuff. So I did that for about a year, maybe two. And then at some point, finally found a job, got a job right off the bat in 2018. I got a job. So it was my very first job at a law firm, and let's just say it was pretty interesting. I did get a little bit of experience, but because it was so far from home, it was taking a lot from me physically and financially. So there was that, on top of me realizing not only was I doing attorney work, I was also doing office manager work, I was doing legal assistant work, I was doing receptionist work, the whole 9 yards. And I was like, nah, I did not join this firm to do receptionists and all that stuff. And so I only spent about 2 months at that job, and then I found something that was closer, much closer to home. Like, I'm talking about a 5 to 9 minute drive from where I lived. That job was pretty good. I think I worked there for a little over a year, honestly. I joined the firm to do bankruptcy and stuff like that. And because the firm is a general law firm, I ended up doing much more than that. I ended up doing family law, bankruptcy, business, real estate, and yeah. So I did that, and I'm grateful for it because it did let me gain experience in certain aspects. But also, being a new attorney, there were certain ways I wanted to approach practicing law that I didn't feel I had the freedom to at that firm. Let's just say that. One, I felt like there was nothing that I was doing at the firm that I couldn't do from home, except meet clients. Of course, if I had meetings, I had to meet clients, I was perfectly fine with coming into the office. And because the firm, they're more of the traditional law practice model, they were not down for it. And even with just the way law was practiced, like, there were certain things that were done, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. The knowing, like, I wanted the freedom to practice law how I wanted to, ethically and legally, of course, but I was never a fan of practicing law the traditional way. I always wanted to practice law differently, in a more modern way, in a more free way. Eventually I made the decision I was going to leave. It was so fast too, because I think my partner too was like, well, if you're considering leaving, why don't you leave? Because it seems like every week I'm hearing the same thing. Like, you know, you're complaining, you seem to be stressed, like over the weekend, you're dreading the weekend because come Monday, you know, you have to go back to work. And I think part of me was stressed because a lot of the work that I was doing wasn't really enjoyable. But I was more also stressed because a lot of what was happening, I had no control over. Like, I couldn't effect change in the way that I wanted to. And so I was like, the only way that I can change this is to make myself leave, like be out of there. And so that's what I decided to do. And honestly, that may be a video, you know, a topic for a whole nother video, as to not really having the time to put in place everything that I would have wanted to put in place before I left. If you guys want to see a video on that, you know, drop a comment down below. But I made the decision to leave, and when the managing partner came back, I gave her, nobody knew either. Like, I was cool with the receptionist, my legal assistant, the office manager. We were all cool, but nobody knew that I was planning to leave until I actually told the managing partner. I was not trying to have any information leak until the managing partner came back in town. She was away for a while, came back in town, and I wrote her my letter. I had my letter prepared to give her, and I gave her my notice, and I said, I technically should be giving you 2 weeks. I'm giving you a month's notice, that in a month or at so and so date is my intended last date at the firm. She's like, why? And I'm like, you know, I'm just moving on. I'm trying to experience other things. I'm trying to gain out other opportunities. I'm trying to try different things. And they understood. They were kind of sad that I was leaving, but everybody was shocked again when they found out that I was leaving. But I gave them a month's notice because at the time I didn't have many clients, but I wanted to give them enough time to help transition my clients over, to help them find, because really I was the only other associate attorney. Well, there was one, but the only other associate attorney who really did a little bit of everything was me. And so I wanted to give them enough time to find somebody else to replace me and transition my files over and train in whatever areas I had to train if needed. So I just wanted to give them that time. And I knew at that point that I was leaving and I was going to start my own firm. And that's just what I did. And so in April 2019, I started my firm. And since then, I've been my own boss. Like, it's been the best decision I ever made. I am doing what I love and what I'm excited to do. I figured, why not open my own business and my own law firm and do what interests me, you know, cater to the people in the services that interest me. I'm a business owner. I am a content creator. I've been online and in the online space for well over a decade at this point. So why not offer services that interest me, offer those services to people alike who will find these services useful? So that's what I do. I'm enjoying providing my services to business owners, content creators, influencers, individuals, just regular individuals and their families. We serve you guys too. And if you guys are interested in finding out information about my law firm and what we do, and, you know, just finding out information, I have linked my law firm's YouTube channel below, so go ahead and check that out too, and feel free to subscribe if the information over there is something that appeals to you and you're interested in it. Now, I will say that, you know, it's been one heck of a tough decision as well. Being your own boss, it's not easy. There have been times when it's been great, and there have been times when it's been not, but I would not change being my own boss for anything. I'm happy. I get to make my own decisions. I get to work for myself. I get to wake up when I want, and if I decide I'm not working tomorrow, like, I'm not working tomorrow. Now, let me just say this, like, there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. If that works for you, there is nothing wrong with that. There are people who absolutely love it, and if you're doing what you love, by all means, that's fine. It's just for me, I always knew that I never wanted to be a 9 to 5 person forever or for the rest of my life. I always knew at some point I wanted to be my own boss. And so I'm happy I got to make that decision at the time that I did. Maybe I could have done a little bit better, but you know what? You live, you learn. It's lessons learned. I'm learning as I go. I'm still learning, but the journey has been great. I love making my own decisions, not having to answer to anybody, and figuring things out as I go, making mistakes and know that I'm not, you know, putting anybody else's firm and money at risk other than my own. It's been great so far, and it's been about almost 3 years. It's well over 2 years, going into 3 years, and I'm excited for what the future holds. But yeah, I'm happy, and that's how I became my own boss, y'all. That's my entrepreneurial journey. That's how I became an entrepreneur. I hope you find it useful. I hope you enjoy the content, and if you want to see similar videos like this, let me know. Drop some comments and ideas below. I look forward to seeing them. If you've not yet already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so. It's free, and I would love for you guys to help me hit my next subscriber goal of hitting 5,000 before the year is over. So you guys have already helped me hit one goal. I know you guys can help me hit this one. So hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. Don't forget to hit the post notifications so you never miss another upload from me. I'll see you guys next time. But until then, you guys know what to do. Remember to be blessed and live life unapologetically. Bye, guys.